So how can you identify an element with single attribute? So single attribute means any attribute you can take, right? So it can be ID, name, class, type, value, href, src, alt. It can be any attribute. So you can use a single attribute and you can write a multiple attributes also. So how to write multiple attributes in the Xpath? Either you can use a AND or you can use a OR. So any one attributes you can use. So // tag name square bracket @attribute name equal to single quotes attribute value. So when you can use this, if your element is starting with input tag, select tag, button tag, img tags, then you can directly start. You don't need to go one level up, so all those things. One level up, when you can go, when there is a list of elements, then only you can write that relative XPath. But so if your element starts with all these tags, you can directly start // that tag name square bracket @attribute name equal to single quote attribute value you can write directly. So that's the beauty of this single attribute. We have written in the CSS also, but there is no symbol and no // Here just // is starting. That's it. So that's the difference between CSS and Xpath. Yesterday we practiced this in CSS also, and so we have written with the two attributes in CSS also, but here it is different little bit. So // tag name square bracket @attribute name equal to single quote attribute value. If you want to check the condition, both are there only, you identify. If you want to tell for Selenium, you have to use AND. Any one is there in the HTML for this tag, then you are asking Selenium to identify that element, then use R. Either this one or this attribute. So such cases you can use R. So that's the with the more than one attribute how to use. In the same square bracket you will write. So in the CSS we have written each attribute and that value in one square bracket, another attribute value in another square bracket we so placed it. But here it is in the same bracket. You will use AND R. So let's go and see these examples, and let me show you this buttons. I'm looking for buttons, whether this is a button or not. Let me show you that. It's a tag. Here is the button tag. So what I told you, if the element starts with a button tag or input tag or select tag, you can start from directly from there itself. See, I'm going to write that. So // button square bracket. See what are the attributes are there. You have value attribute, class attribute, name attribute, data-test ID, type, ID. So which one you want me to take? Any attribute you can take. I'll take a data-test ID, okay? So what is that value? This is the one. So let's use. So this is the Facebook, what they did is, for a testing purpose, they have created this data-test ID. So the developer will create that, so that value doesn't change. Even other attributes changes also, this value doesn't change. It's a constant for testing purpose. The testing purpose only they created this. So that attribute name is I'm writing. So data-test ID equal to single quote that value. See that? It should recognize now. Click on Finder icon. See that? It is highlighting. Right? Any attribute you can take. So let me add one more, two attributes. And @type equal to, so what is the type value? Submit. Let me add that. type equal to single quote submit. So then you can see now, even with the two attributes also you can identify. Find it. Or you can use R also. Because both are there, right? So I can use R also here. See, even you can use R also. Both you can use. So that is the how you can recognize the element. So you can see a login button, right? How can you write in WebDriver? Login button. So driver dot find element bracket by dot xpath and give that xpath value. Copy that xpath. That's it. Either you can use R or and or single, only single. It's up to you. But make sure first you check in the Catalan recorder whether it is working or not. So that's the how to recognize an element using Xpath. So let's go on next. So what is the other element? Let's take this input tag. Input tag also is there. You can use only one. Let me take name. Okay, name attribute. Even you can take ARIA label also. Whatever you want, it's up to you. Even data-tested is created for every element for their testing purpose. So that's a good idea. So no, you don't need to worry about that. So people can use that IDs. So only for testing purpose, you can take directly that one only. So it kind of like it's a kind of ID only. And // input tag. Even if you don't want to write the tag name, you can put a star also. Star means any tag. It will represent any tag. So I'll show you that after this. @ name equal to the name value. See that now it will recognize the email or phone number edit box. Then, so we can write instead of tag // after, if you don't want to write a tag name, just put a star, then square bracket. So in place of tag, you are putting a star. Star means any tag. It will take automatically. So then @ name equal to email. See, this is how we can identify that. Okay, so that's this object identification. Okay, so this is with ID I have shown you, with input tag I have shown you, with the button I have shown you. So let's see the IMG tag. See IMG tag, you have a class. I can take a class, or I can take a SRC attribute also. And there is a alt also, alt attribute. Let me take alt attribute. Okay, I'll take alt attribute. So with alt attribute also, I'll write Xpath with IMG tag. So // IMG tag square bracket @ alt. Alt is an attribute and attribute value. See now it will go and recognize the Facebook logo. See that. This is how you can identify the elements, anything. Right? So I have shown you with the button tag, IMG tag, input tag. It can be anything, okay? It can be anything. So like take this forget password, even link also, a tag. It's an independent link. No other links are there with this. Then you can use a tag also. Let's see this. I can write. So I can write with that also, /a tag square bracket @ href. I can use href equal to href value. So what is href value? I can take any one. If you want to use any one, you have to use a contains. So let's use contains. So because I want to use only recover from href value, only partial I want to use. So contains @href. So you should not use equal to. If you're using contains, don't use equals. Always use comma, single quote. And I'm taking this one, only recover. Recover keyword is there, right? That I'm writing here. So that means href attribute value contains recover keyword or not. That's what I'm checking. If it is there, then identify I'm saying. So this a tag contains href value recover. Go and identify that element in the web page. I'm instructing the Selenium. So it will go and identify that element. See that? See that? It's not identifying any other element because this href is going to have with recover value only this element. Even if you have other element in the web page order, which element is on the first order? So the first one will recognize. For example, you assume that this element and one more element is having same recover value for href. Then which one it will identify? Suppose you assume that forget password 2 here or here. First forget password is this one, and this one will identify, not this one. If you want to identify the second one, you have to write a relative XPath. If duplicates are there in the same page, this is not going to work out. You have to write a relative XPath. The complete tags path you have to write. So uniquely if you want to identify. Okay. So that's all about single attribute, how to recognize. Now let's move on to so what are the different type of XPath functions and how can you identify dynamically changing web elements? So dynamically changing web elements, how can you identify? So using XPath functions like contains, starts with, and access XPaths. So these are the 3 ways you can recognize a dynamically changing web elements. So this is the one of the interview question. So please read the theory part. Don't ignore that. So why you need to use contains, I hope you got till now. Because the changed portion you can ignore with the contains. Starts with is the starting part if you want to represent. You would use just starts with. So access XPath, I'll tell you that. So what are the XPath functions? We have a contains function. Function means function name followed by parentheses. So you know, right, Java, we learned that. So the part by part I explained in Java. Function name followed by parentheses. So that's what I have written here also. See that? So where we have written a function here, right? Function name followed by parentheses. Parentheses inside you have a argument. This argument we are passing. Okay. Let's go and write text function. So text function means to recognize your text in the web page, you will use a text function. Starts -with. So any attribute value which is starting with, that you can use a starts with. Then and we have seen not function. You want to do a negation of current attribute, then you can do a not function. So we don't have any example for this now, but previously we used to have, but that website is completely down. So that's why I cannot show this. Last function, I'll show you the last function, position function, and access XPaths. We have following, preceding, ancestor, descendant. These are all the access XPaths. So these are the some of them. But So first one, let's see how to identify మొత్తం చేసుకోలేదు. Okay, so how to identify links, static text, header text using contains and text function. One. Sorry, guys. Okay. So if you want to identify any element, so link or static text or any text in the web page using contains and text function, then you can use this formula: // tag name square bracket contains text function. So comma single quote, you can give partial or complete text. Then close the normal bracket first, the round bracket, this one. And then the outer bracket, you close it. So that's the process. First, you have to, while opening time, outer bracket you will open, then inner bracket you will open. While closing time, first inner bracket you will close, then outer bracket will close. So this is the very, very useful formula to recognize the elements. Okay, so this formula, we'll see how to identify these elements. Okay, so and tomorrow we'll see all these formulas. I'll show you these Xpaths, and we'll write some more examples, starts with and ends with. So these examples we'll write. And today and so tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we can close the object identification nicely. Then we'll jump into the exact WebDriver code. So how to write WebDriver code, and we'll see that. Okay. So any questions? Please practice. Without this object identification, it's very tough to write the code. Okay.